Raw rolls on. Okay, we finally got here. We are not just at the 10 o'clock hour. We're at 9:57 p.m. They wanted to make sure they got this in. Here comes the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and his entrance, the music, the suit, the hugs, the shaking hands, the adoration of the adoring public. And right at the top of the 10 o'clock hour, for people that may be switching around or whatever, they've snagged him with or trying to snag him. At 9 o'clock, it was Brock Lesnar. Now it's Cody Rhodes. You can see where they're slotting Cody. And he starts off by, saying that, hey, things have been glossed over a little bit. I might not be facing Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I've got a title shot, but Sammy's got him at the Elimination Chamber, so I might be at WrestleMania challenging Sami Zayn, and that got a little reaction. But remember, what did I say 3 days ago? We did the last program. I said, between now and then, Cody and Sami better be real good friends, and Sami needs to be fully supportive of whatever Cody does, and vice versa. And here you go. He said, I wish my friend Sami Zayn the best of luck. May the best man win. So they're planting that seed and where we go from here. And then suddenly Heyman interrupts on the microphone. No music. Cody didn't have to stand there like a dipshit with some guy's music plays and he walks out. It's just Paul and the microphone. And in any era, in the late 1800s, Paul Heyman would have been the most successful snake oil salesman in America. In the 30s, he would have been the barker for the most successful carnival. He's a fucking genius.
You're not even talking about him as a performer. You're just talking about his ability.
Well, yeah. And honestly, from that point on, from the time that he started talking and came to the ring, I didn't make a goddamn note. I didn't jot anything down. I didn't stop looking at the facial expressions and the reactions that each one of them had to stuff that the other would say, and Paul's trembling hand every once in a while, and it was incredible. Because again, Heyman, the cunning linguist, the verbal master, and Cody, this is his story, and he loves the personal aspect. And that was the point, the go after all of 17 minutes, which flew by. You didn't want to, if people were glued, I would assume, to what they were hearing because it all made sense and it was fucking perfectly done. And there was so much truth in it that you couldn't visually or verbally discern where the truth ended and the work began. It's a masterpiece of a confrontation without being a confrontation. They didn't have to be mad in this instance. And I mean, and you can't really describe it without just reading a verbatim transcript. But the whole thing was about even Paul's affection for Dusty Rhodes, and that Cody had to shake his hand and thank him for helping the Rhodes family when they were down, and that time that Dusty went to work for ECW. He didn't do it for love of the game. And then they just weaved back and forth and finally told the story when you thought that Paul, as he usually does, had gotten a verbal zinger in at the end. Cody had the perfect final words for a babyface. When he backed Paul up in the corner, he made him shake his hand and grabbed it and gave it the oomph every once in a while and said, everybody's giving me a lot of crap because I'm just trying to win a wrestling championship. But if you want to make it personal, then that's what we will do. And it won't be personal between me and you. It'll be personal between me and Roman because you've made it personal. They shot this well. These guys, if they did hit their marks, if they walked through it enough to have marks, which I'm pretty sure they did because it was staged pretty well too. There wasn't any wandering around. Then these guys ought to be on Broadway. They hit their fucking marks. But I can't honestly think of the last time that I saw or heard a promo segment on a wrestling show that had as much realness to it. Maybe Punk's one or two when he came back, the one or two best ones when he had first come back. Other ones escape me at this point. You can talk about good promos, but that people could believe because so much of it was legitimate and you couldn't tell where that stopped and working started. And just the fact that they were able to do this flawlessly for 17 minutes.
Punk and Kingston, Punk and MJF, those are two examples I could think of. But more than anything, I think this was an example of the kind of stuff Cody wished he could have done in AEW. But he didn't have the people to work with that could do it.
Yeah.
Because the emotion...
That's probably what he saw in MJF, because he was the verbal master that he thought could play a part like this in something with him.
Give Heyman credit. Give them both credit. They both cried, it appeared, during the promo.
Well, I think anybody that ever worked for Paul will tell you he can make that face, and you can even hear some snot snurfle, but if you look, there's not a lot of tears running down the cheeks. But
I know it's not going to happen. I'll say that a second time. I know it's not going to happen, but I'm an optimist. I'm an eternal optimist. And I've got money to spare. I'll pay everyone involved if we get Brandy out there to cut a promo on Heyman.
Oh, come on.
That's
now.
all I want. I think I asked for it years ago. Brandy and Heyman, let's go.
No.
I think that this was a captivating segment. And I had recently been talking to you on air and off about the lack of people in wrestling that you could just stop and watch what they do and you don't get bored and think, oh, there's not a wrestling match. For all the faults of pretending the camera's not there at times, the bloodline shit has been impeccable.
Yeah.
You want to see what's going to happen. Sometimes it's so slow moving and you just deal with it. And then something happens, the most minor thing, and it's a big thing. Couldn't take my eyes off the screen. Both guys were completely in the moment. The fans didn't chant boring. It went on a long time. They didn't chant boring.
Nobody said what?
Nothing.
Not even a wise ass little segment of four people in section E trying to start it. Nothing.
In AEW, it was always said to me, and I think other people have reported this, or at least said that they heard the rumor, Cody really wasn't interested in doing anything that touched back to his dad. I don't know how to put that exactly, and I don't know how strict or firm it was, but it was really about Cody establishing Cody. He didn't want everything to be about Dusty. They did it here, and it worked, and it was perfect, and it was the perfect way and the perfect time to do it. We've got months until Mania. This is one of those examples right here, unless it's something like he runs in Montreal to help Sammy because Jay shows up and turns on Sammy and helps Roman or whatever. Unless it's something like that, don't make it physical. Just let everyone talk everyone into this match. This was brilliant. I don't know about the best segment of the history of Raw, as you said a few times, but
it's
up there on the list.
Modern memory, maybe.
This is the kind of stuff that Cody was trying to force himself to do in AEW when it wasn't working. This is the stuff he's wanted to do, and with Heyman, he had the perfect guy to do it with. This was great.
The perfect dance partner. You know what? When the inevitable happens in the bidding war of 2024 and jolly old Saint Nick signs up MJF, can we find out that MJF is really the illegitimate son of Paul Heyman and potentially a lady of the evening from the Bronx?
From the Bronx, really?
And MJF's, well, whatever the fuck.
You think Paul was driving from Scarsdale into the Bronx to pick up hookers?
Well, there you go.
Oh, that is what you think. Okay.
They don't let hookers in Scarsdale. They don't have fucking social standing. So MJF's current parents actually adopted him when Heyman forced the hooker to leave him out in a basket on a doorstep.
I'm going to agree with everyone else. You're out of touch. No more booking for you. You're done.